Hi there. I'm just getting set up for the notes. To 22. Okay, I've got everything pulled up. So we are on Deuteronomy chapter 20, was it 18 to 22? 18 to 22 today. So I'm going to go ahead and read, and then I will go over my notes with you guys. Hope you guys are having a good day. Okay, so let's go. Let me get my light, as if I don't have enough light already, but it helps. All right, so chapter 18. The priests, the Levites, and all of the tribe of Levi shall have no part nor inheritance with Israel. They shall eat the offerings that the Lord made by fire, and his portion. Therefore they shall have no inheritance among their brethren. The Lord is their inheritance, as he said to them. And this shall be the priest's due from the people, from those who have offered a sacrifice. Whether it is a bull or a sheep, they shall give to the priest the shoulder, the cheeks, and the stomach. The first fruits of your grain and your new wine and your oil, and the first of the fleece of your sheep you shall give to him. For the Lord your God has chosen him out of all your tribes to stand and minister in the name of the Lord, him and his sons forever. So, sorry, I meant to mute this. That's going to be loud. I apologize. Okay. So, if a Levite comes in from any of your gates where he dwells among Israel and comes with all the desires of his mind to the place where the Lord chooses, then he may serve in the name of the Lord his God, as all his brethren and Levites do who stand there before the Lord. They shall have equal portions to eat besides what comes from the sale of his inheritance. When you come into the land which the Lord your God is giving you, you shall not learn to follow the abominations of those nations. So this is like the third time that he's warning them about the new nations. There shall not be found among you anyone who makes his son or daughter to pass through the fire, or one who practices witchcraft, or a soothsayer, or one who interprets omens, or a sorcerer, or one who conjures spells, or a medium, or a spiritist, or one who calls up the dead. For all who do these things are an abomination to the Lord, and because these abominations, the Lord your God drives them out from before you. You shall be blameless before the Lord your God, for these nations which you dispossess listen to soothsayers and diviners, but as for you, the Lord your God has not appointed such for you. The Lord your God will raise up for you a prophet like me from your midst, from your brethren. Him you shall hear, according to all that you desired of the Lord your God in Horeb on the day of assembly, saying, let me not hear again the voice of the Lord my God, nor let me see his great fire any more, lest I die. And the Lord said to me, what they have spoken is good. I will raise up for them a prophet like you among their brethren, and will put my words in his mouth, and he shall speak to them all that I command him. And it shall be that whoever will not hear my words, which he speaks in my name, I will require it of him. But the prophet who presumes to speak a word in my name, which I have not commanded him to speak, or who speaks in the name of other gods, that prophet shall die. And if you say in your heart, how shall we know the word which the Lord has not spoken? When a prophet speaks in the name of the Lord, if the thing does not happen or come to pass, that is the thing which the Lord has not spoken. The prophet has spoken presumptuously, and you shall not, I apologize. You shall not be afraid of him. Chapter 19. When the Lord your God has cut off all the nations whose land the Lord your God is giving you, and you dispossess them and dwell in their cities and in their houses, you shall separate 3 cities for yourself in the midst of the land which the Lord your God is giving you to possess. You shall prepare roads for yourself and divide into 3 parts the territory of your land which the Lord is giving you to inherit, that a manslayer may flee there. This is the case of the manslayer who flees there, that he may live. Whoever kills his neighbor unintentionally, not having hated him in time past, as when a man goes to the woods with his neighbor to cut timber, and his hand swings a stroke with the axe to cut down the tree, and the head slips from the handle and strikes his neighbor so that he dies, he shall flee to one of these cities and live. Lest the avenger of blood, while his anger is hot, pursue the manslayer and overtake him, because the way is long, and kill him, though he was not deserving of death, since he had not hated the victim in times past. Therefore I command you, saying, you shall separate 3 cities for yourselves. Now, if the Lord your God enlarges your territory, as he swore to your fathers, and gives you the land which he promised to give to your fathers, and if you keep all of these commandments and do them, which I command you this day, to love the Lord your God and to walk in his ways, then you shall add 3 more cities for yourself besides these 3, lest innocent blood be shed in the midst of your land, which the Lord your God is giving you as an inheritance, and thus the guilt of bloodshed be upon you. But if anyone hates his neighbor, lies in wait for him, rises against him, and strikes him mortally so that he dies, and he flees to one of these cities, then the elders of this city shall send and bring him from there, and deliver him over to the hand of the avenger of blood, that he may die. Your eyes shall not pity him, but you shall put away the guilt of the innocent blood from Israel, that it may go well with you. You shall not remove your neighbor's landmark, which the men of old have set in your inheritance, which you will inherit in the land that the Lord your God is giving you to possess. 1 witness shall not rise against a man concerning any iniquity or sin that he commits. By the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses the matter shall be established. If a false witness rises against any man to testify against him of wrongdoing, then both men in the controversy shall stand before the Lord, before the priests and the judges who serve in those days, and the judges shall make careful inquiry, and indeed, if the witness is a false witness who has testified falsely against his brother, then you shall do to him as he thought to have done to his brother. So shall you put away the evil from among you. And those who remain shall hear and fear, and hereafter they shall not again commit such evil among you. Your eyes shall not pity. Life shall be for life, eye for eye, tooth for tooth, hand for hand, foot for foot. Chapter 20. When you go out to battle against your enemies, and you see horses and chariots and people more numerous than you, do not be afraid of them, for the Lord your God is with you, who brought you up out of the land of Egypt. So it shall be, when you are on the verge of battle, that the priest shall approach and speak to the people. And he shall say to them, Hear, O Israel, today you are on the verge of battle with your enemies. Do not let your heart faint. Do not be afraid, and do not tremble or be terrified because of them. For the Lord your God is he who goes with you to fight for you against your enemies, to save you. Then the officers shall speak to the people, saying, What man is there who has built a new house and has not dedicated it? Let him go and return to his house, lest he die in the battle, and another man dedicate it. Also, what man is there who has planted a vineyard and has not eaten of it? Let him go down and return to his house, lest he die in the battle, and another man eat of it. And what man, is there who is betrothed to a woman and has not married her? Let him go down and return to his house, lest he die in the battle, and another man marry her. The officer shall speak further to the people, and say, What man is there who is fearful and faint-hearted? Let him go and return to his house, lest the heart of his brethren faint, like his heart. And so it shall be, when the officers have finished speaking to the people, that they shall make captains of armies to lead the people. When you go near a city to fight against it, then proclaim an offer of peace to it. And it shall be that if they accept your offer of peace and open to you, then all the people who are found in it will be placed under tribute to you and serve you. Now if the city will not make peace with you, but makes war against you, then you shall besiege it. And when the Lord your God delivers it into your hands, you shall strike every male in it with the edge of the sword. But the women, the little ones, the livestock, and all that is in the city, all of its spoil, you shall plunder for yourself, and you shall eat the enemy's plunder, which the Lord your God gives you. Thus you shall do to all the cities which are very far from you, which are not of the cities of these nations. But of the cities of these peoples, which the Lord your God gives you as an inheritance, you shall let nothing that breathes remain alive. So that's the difference. The cities that are far, and then the cities that God gave him. Different rules. Verse 17, But you shall utterly destroy them, the Hittite and the Amorite, the Canaanite, the Perizzite, the Hivite, the Jebusite, just as the Lord your God has commanded you, lest they teach you to do according to their abominations, which they have done for their gods, and you sin against the Lord your God. When you besiege a city for a long time, while making war against it to take it, you shall not destroy its trees, wielding an axe against them. If you eat of them, do not cut them down to use in the siege, for the tree of the field is man's food. Only the trees which you know are not trees for food you may destroy and cut down, and build siege works against the city that makes war with you until it's subdued. That's wisdom. Chapter 21, If anyone is found slain lying in the field, in the land which the Lord your God is giving you to possess, and it is not known who killed him, then your elders and your judges shall go out and measure the distance from the slain to the surrounding cities. And it shall be that the elders of the cities nearest the slain man will take a heifer, which has not been worked and which has not been pulled with a yoke. The elders of that city shall bring the heifer down to the valley with flowing water, which is neither plowed nor sown, and they shall break the heifer's neck there in the valley. Then the priests and the sons of Levi shall come near, for the Lord your God has chosen them to minister to him and to bless in the name of the Lord by their word, every controversy, and every assault shall be settled. And all the elders of that city nearest the slain man shall wash their hands over the heifer whose neck was broken in the valley. Then they shall answer and say, Our hands have not shed this blood, nor have our eyes seen it. Provide atonement, O Lord, for your people Israel, whom you have redeemed, and do not lay innocent blood to the charge of your people Israel. An atonement shall be provided on their behalf for the blood. So you shall put away the guilt of innocent blood from among you when you do what is right in the sight of the Lord. When you go out to war against your enemies, and the Lord your God delivers them into your hands, and you take them captive, and you see among the captives a beautiful woman and desire her, and would take her for your wife, then you shall bring her home to your house, and she shall shave her head and trim her nails. She shall put off the clothes of her captivity, remain in your house, and mourn her father and mother a full month. After that you may go into her and be her husband, and she shall be your wife. And it shall be, if you have no delight in her, then you shall set her free, but you certainly shall not sell her for money. You shall not treat her brutally, because you have humbled her. If a man has two wives, one loved and the other unloved, and they have borne him children, both the loved and the unloved, and if the firstborn son is of her who is unloved, then it shall be on the day that he bequeaths his possessions of his sons, that he must not bestow firstborn status on the son of the loved wife in preference to the son of the unloved, the true firstborn. But he shall acknowledge the son of the unloved wife as the firstborn by giving him a double portion of all that he has, for he is the beginning of his strength. The right of the firstborn is his. If a man has a stubborn and rebellious son who will not obey the voice of his father or the voice of his mother, and who, when they have chastised him, will not heed them, then his father and mother shall take hold of him and bring him out to the elders of the city, to the gate of the city, and they shall say to the elders of the city, this son of ours is stubborn and rebellious. He will not hear our voice. He is a glutton and a drunkard. Notice that. They went from being a rebellious son to now he's a glutton and a drunkard. Then all the men of the city shall stone him to death with stones. So you shall put away evil from among you, and all Israel shall hear and fear. If a man has committed a sin deserving of death, and he is put to death, and you hang him on a tree, his body shall not remain overnight on the tree, but you shall surely bury him that day, so that you do not foul the land which the Lord your God is giving you as an inheritance, for he who is hanged is accursed of God. Chapter 22, you shall not see your brother's ox or his sheep going astray and hide yourself from them. You shall certainly bring them back to your brother. And if your brother is not near you, or if you do not know him, then you shall bring it to your own house, and it shall remain with you until your brother seeks it. Then you will restore it to him. You shall do the same with his donkey, and so shall you do with his garment, and any lost thing of your brother's which he has lost and you have found. You shall do likewise. You must not hide yourself. You shall not see your brother's donkey or his ox fall down along the road and hide yourself from them. You shall surely help lift them up again. A woman shall not wear anything that pertains to a man, nor shall any man put on a woman's garment, for all who do so are an abomination to the Lord your God. If a bird nest happens to be before you along the way, in any tree or on the ground, with young ones or eggs, with the mother sitting on the young one or the eggs, you shall not take the mother with the young. You shall surely let the mother go and take the young for yourself, that it may be well with you and that you may prolong your days. When you build a new house, then you shall make a parapet for your roof, that you may not bring the guilt of bloodshed on your household if anyone falls from it. You shall not sow your vineyard with different kinds of seed, lest the yield of the seed which you have sown and the fruit of your vineyard be defiled. You shall not plow with an ox and a donkey together. You shall not wear a garment of different sorts, such as wool and linen mixed together. You shall make tassels on the four corners of the clothing with which you cover yourself. If a man takes a wife and goes into her and detests her, and charges her with shameful conduct, and brings a bad name on her, and says, I took this woman, and when I came to her, I found she was not a virgin, then the father or mother of the young woman shall take and bring out the evidence of the young woman's virginity to all the elders at the city gate. And the young woman's father shall say to the elders, I gave my daughter to this man as a wife, and he detests her. Now he has charged her with shameful conduct, saying, I found your daughter was not a virgin, and yet these are the evidences of my daughter's virginity. And they shall spread the cloth before the elders of the city. Then the elders of the city shall take that man and punish him, and they shall fine him 100 shekels of silver, and give them to the father of the young woman, because he has brought a bad name on a virgin of Israel. And she shall be his wife. He cannot divorce her all of his days. But if the thing is true, and evidences of virginity are not found for the young woman, Then they shall bring out the young woman to the door of her father's house, and the men of the city shall stone her to death with stones, because she has done a disgraceful thing in Israel, to play the harlot with her father's house. So you shall put away the evil from among you. If a man is found lying with a woman married to a husband, then both of them shall die. The man that lay with the woman and the woman, so you shall put away the evil of Israel. If a young woman who is a virgin is betrothed to a husband, and a man finds her in the city and lies with her, then you shall bring them both out to the gate of the city, and you shall stone them to death with stones. The young woman, because she did not cry out in the city, and the man, because he humbled his neighbor's wife. So you shall put away the evil from among you. But if a man finds a betrothed young woman in the countryside, and the man forces her and lies with her, then only the man who lay with her shall die. But you shall do nothing to the young woman. There is in the young woman no sin deserving of death. For just as when a man rises against his neighbor and kills him, even so is this matter. For he found her in the countryside and betrothed, and the betrothed young woman cried out, but there was none to save her. If a man finds a young woman who is a virgin, who is not betrothed, and he seizes her and lies with her, and they are found out, then the man who lay with her shall give to the young woman's father 50 shekels of silver, and she shall be his wife, because he has humbled her. He shall not be permitted to divorce her all of his days. A man shall not take his father's wife, nor uncover his father's bed. That's the law for incest, of course. And these are like reiterated. Some of them are reiterated from chapters before. All right, so let's go to the breakdown for today, starting with Deuteronomy 18. God's true prophet and forbidden practices. Israel is forbidden from witchcraft, sorcery, divination, and spiritism. God promises to raise up a true prophet, pointing ultimately to Christ, who speaks God's words with accuracy and authority. This chapter exposes the reality of spiritual forces, such as anything that's birthed or born out of the occult practices. Occult practices open the door to demonic influences. Prophecy aligned with God brings life, direction, and truth. The leadership lesson of this chapter is that leaders protect the community from spiritual counterfeits and point them to God's voice alone. Deuteronomy 19, cities of refuge with integrity and justice. God establishes cities of refuge for those who kill unintentionally. Justice must be fair, impartial, and based on multiple witnesses. False witnesses must receive the punishment they intended for others. Hence is why Haman was hung on the same gallows, right? I believe David even had prayers like, let them be hung by the very noose that they constructed for me. Let them be burned in fire. Let them fall into the ditch that they dug for me. Things like that. That's where that came from. Cities of refuge symbolize Christ, a safe place from judgment. Justice rooted in truth prevents corruption in leadership. The leadership lesson of Deuteronomy 19 is that leaders must create environments of truth, fairness, and protection, justice without partiality. Deuteronomy 20, God's presence in warfare. God gives instructions for warfare before battle. A priest encourages the people. Do not fear, God fights for you. Certain men were excused from war, showing God's compassion. Israel must offer peace first, judge righteously, and remove corruption from cities that resist God. Every battle is spiritual before it is physical. Victory depends on God's presence, not military strength, and warfare is governed by holiness and justice. And the leadership lesson of this chapter is that leaders must face battles with courage, peace, strategy, and trust in God's process. Victory flows from obedience and not from aggression. Notice how he says to come to them in peace, right? But if they don't want peace, then you have to bring war, right? So the devotional summary for chapters 11 through 20 is, number 1, chapter 11 is love God fully and constantly. Chapter 12, worship God purely in the place that he chooses. Chapter 13, reject deception and idolatry. Chapter 14, live distinctly as God's treasured people. Chapter 15, be generous, compassionate, and fair. Chapter 16, celebrate God's goodness through worship rhythms. Chapter 17, lead with humility and justice. Chapter 18, discern God's voice and reject counterfeits. Chapter 19, hold to integrity and truth in all things. And chapter 20, win battles by trusting God's presence. And this whole section from basically 11 to 20 reveals covenant structure, spiritual warfare, prophetic shadows of Christ, and holy separation. Moses is shaping Israel not only for the land, but for the life that is to be lived inside of the land. The leadership takeaway from these chapters is that great leaders love God deeply, obey Him fully, guard purity fiercely, lead humbly, judge fairly, teach truth boldly, and trust God completely in every battle. And then chapter 21 and chapter 22, justice, honor, and protecting the community is chapter 21. Moses lays out laws centered on justice, dignity, and accountability within the covenant community. These laws protect against unresolved guilt, family dishonor, abuse of authority, and the mistreatment of vulnerable people. Unsolved murder requires a public cleansing ritual, showing that innocent blood still pollutes the land until atonement is made. Bloodshed has spiritual consequences, period. Justice restores order in the unseen realms as well as in the community. Then God addresses the dignity of captive women, the rights of firstborn sons, and the discipline for rebellious children. Each law reflects God's concern for the vulnerable and the importance of honoring covenant structure within families. This chapter ends with a critical truth. A criminal hung on a tree must be buried quickly because being displayed publicly represents being under God's curse. Remember, we know cursed is every man who is hung on the tree. That's why Jesus died the way that He did, to reverse those curses, right? This foreshadows Christ, who became a curse for us by hanging on the tree, absorbing judgment that belonged to humanity. Holiness includes justice, compassion, and accountability in everyday life. And the leadership truth is righteous leaders protect the vulnerable, uphold order, practice fairness, and handle discipline with wisdom and not emotion. And then Deuteronomy chapter 22, practical holiness in everyday relationships. This chapter teaches that holiness isn't abstract, it plays out in practical, ordinary actions. Moses instructs Israel to return lost property, help a neighbor's fallen animal, like don't turn a blind eye to it, show kindness even to strangers' belongings. God commands that clothing not blur gender distinctions, that homes be built safely with railings, and that people protect the land, avoiding mixed seed and mismatched animals in labor. Each law reveals God's order, God's desire for order, distinction, and integrity. Mixture always represents spiritual compromise. Blending what God separates leads to confusion. God teaches His people to avoid mixture in worship, identity, labor, and relationships. This chapter also includes laws about sexual morality, honesty, and the importance of protecting marriage and community purity. Sexual sin fractures covenant identity and invites spiritual corruption. Purity is not merely physical, it is a covenant loyalty. The devotional truth is that holiness is expressed in kindness, honesty, purity, responsibility, and how we treat others, even in the smallest things. The leadership truth is that leaders protect the weak, honor boundaries, guard the community's purity, and avoid mixture in character, message, and relationships. And then these two, I did a summary for these because we're starting now. I'll be doing the summary for all the 5 chapters as we go forward so that we'll be on the same page. But the summary for these 2 chapters is that covenant life is expressed through justice, and justice that restores and protects, compassion toward the vulnerable, honor within families, respect for life and dignity, protection of personal and community purity, distinctions that reflect God's order, practical holiness in daily actions, kindness and responsibility in relationships. Nothing in God's kingdom is an accident. Everyday actions have spiritual meaning. Holiness begins in the heart, but must be lived out in what we do and not just what we believe. Leaders who reflect God's heart practice justice, uphold purity, avoid mixture, show compassion, honor boundaries, and live with integrity even when no one is watching. That's pretty good for today. Today was really good. I hope you guys were blessed. I love you guys. I pray that y'all have a good rest of your day. And I will see y'all back tomorrow for 5 more chapters. Amen.